Hello. Um, I've decided during this weird time between Christmas and New Year's where time doesn't exist and nothing makes sense, that I would create this video, which is me showing you all and describing the records that I bought this year that were released this year. I don't necessarily consider these a comprehensive list of my favorite albums of the year, but most of these are my favorite albums of the year. This is just sort of the vinyl that I acquired this year that came out this year, just to give you a sense of some really great music that was released this year that I think you should know about, or that someone out there should know about, because this is all great stuff. So anyway, this is kind of long, so bear with me. And hopefully you will be inspired to make some purchases. And I'm going to go in alphabetical order by artist. So that's the order. This is not worst to best by any means. Anyway, let me get started. So anyway, this is the latest record from Jessica Ackerley. It's called All the Colors Are Singing, and it's incredible. It's one of my favorite records of the year. It's easily in my top 5. Jess is a guitarist and composer, and works primarily in jazz and experimental music. From Canada originally, lived in New York for a number of years, now lives in Hawaii pursuing a PhD in composition, I believe. And this is this is an album that they've created with a jazz trio. Jess on guitar, and Walter Stinson on bass, and Aaron Edgecombe on drums. And there's also some strings that were added in there, which really provide an interesting and quite beautiful texture to the music. A lot of it is improvisational. This is some really great jazz trio music. It's wonderful. It's beautifully executed, and one of my favorite records of the year. It's on AKP Recordings. That's the label. Love the artwork here. It's really quite amazing and a great record, and you should have this in your collection. This is the latest from Adeline Hotel. It's called Who Done It. Adeline Hotel is basically Dan Kishkawi writing the song, singing, playing guitar. I think pretty much all acoustic guitar on this album. He also plays drums and a number of other instruments, but this is his latest record under the Adeline Hotel moniker. Oh, and it's a gatefold, which is great. This is really beautiful stuff here. This is a breakup album. But unlike a lot of albums in that genre, it's not bitter or hateful. This is actually a very hopeful, contemplative record, and the songs are just incredible, and I highly recommend this. Who Done It by Adeline Hotel. This is on Dan's label, Ruination Records. Ruination made a lot of really great records this year, and you'll be seeing more of those on this video. This is the latest from Arouge Aftab. It's called Night Rain. It's on Verve Records. This is probably the closest thing to a mainstream record that you'll see in this list, because Arouge has been getting a lot of very well-deserved recognition. She was on Colbert earlier this month, so she's definitely gotten the attention of a lot of people, deservedly so. Arouge is born in Saudi Arabia, to Pakistani parents. A lot of her music is very much influenced by the region of the world where she and her parents are from. This is sort of jazzy. It's a kind of a late night record. This is meant to be listened to at night, and it has this really wonderful, almost mysterious feel to it. There's a great cover of the standard Autumn Leaves on here. One of my favorite songs on here is called Whiskey. It's beautiful. There's some interesting guest appearances on this record. More Mother is on one song, and Elvis Costello, of all people, who's a big fan of hers, apparently plays electric piano, which is a kind of crazy guest appearance, but it works. It's great. But this is Night Rain. It's Arouge Aftab, and it's wonderful. It's beautiful. Here is the latest record from Laurie Anderson. It's called Amelia. This is her tribute to Amelia Earhart, specifically her ill-fated transatlantic flight. And it's sort of like a music documentary. It describes through narration and composition and performances, orchestrations, what happened with Amelia Earhart on that final flight. It's beautifully conceived. I've been a fan of Laurie Anderson's for many, many years. I discovered her when I was a teenager. I think my brother was the one who kind of got me into her music. This is one of the best things she's ever done. Her music is often described as very quirky, whatever that means, but this is a very accessible record, and I think it's a wonderful tribute to Earhart, and just beautifully executed. This is a record that I haven't really listened to very yet, so I feel really weird putting it on this list, but it is a 2024 release. It's on the Tiny Engines label. I ordered a record on that label from Ben Saratan, and then they threw this in here as a bonus into the package. This is an album by Annabelle. It's called Worldviews. What I've heard so far I really like, but I can't really describe it that well because I haven't listened to it enough, but it's good. And also, I'm a sucker for colored vinyl. I don't know why. I don't know if that makes me seem pretentious, but or shallow. But anyway, this is a great record, what I've heard so far. This is another record that I haven't really listened to very much, and my apologies to John. He gave me this, and I haven't really listened to it very much yet. He accidentally ordered, I think, 2 copies of it, so he gave me his second. I think that's what he did. This is Causa Sui and their album From the Source. I need to listen to this record. I'll listen to it today. Oh, also, I have a Causa Sui sticker on my water bottle, so I am representing, as they say. This record is Sonorous Present from Alex E. Chavez. It's incredible, and Alex is a singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist. He is best known as being a member of a Chicago-based Latin music band called Dos Santos. This is his first solo record. It is sort of a treatise on the immigrant experience based on a book that he wrote on ethnomusicology. There's a lot of Latin-based music in here, a lot of field recordings. It's a very immersive record and quite beautiful. And I highly recommend it. Sonorous Present by Alex E. Chavez. This is the latest record from Steve Dawson, a really incredible singer-songwriter from Chicago. It's called Ghosts. Steve made a record in 2020 that I reviewed for Pop Matters called Last Flight Out, which is sort of folk with a lot of kind of mysterious elements like strings and things like that. This album is a little bit more straightforward, and the songwriting is very reminiscent of people like John Hyatt and Neil Finn. Really great songs, beautifully executed. And yeah, I think that if you are into those artists that I mentioned before, you'll definitely enjoy this record. Again, Steve Dawson, Ghosts. Moving along, we have Delicate Steve and his latest record, Delicate Steve Sings. Spoiler alert, he doesn't sing on this record. It's a joke, haha. It's an instrumental record. He plays guitar. He is an incredible guitarist, and I had never heard of him until earlier this year. I went to see a great singer-songwriter named Jackie West, who I will talk about more in this video, and she was opening for Delicate Steve. So I saw her set, loved it, stuck around for Steve's set, absolutely loved his set, was blown away, and went and got this record. It's instrumental, guitar-based music, but he's not like a shredder. This isn't like Steve Vai. He's more of a influenced by like surf rock and old school like soul music. This is it's a really great record, and everything he's done, everything that I've heard of his is really wonderful. But this is the new one. If you get a chance to see him live, he really puts on a great show. I had the time of my life checking out his set, so definitely check out this record. It's on Anti Records. Delicate Steve Sings. This is easily in my top 3, top 5, probably top 3. Anyway, favorite records of the year. This is Hannah Francis. This is another Ruination Records release. It's called Keeper of the Shepherd. Hannah is a singer-songwriter, a guitarist. It's sort of folk, but kind of mysterious. A lot of kind of interesting time signatures. It's very, I don't know if intense is the word, but it's a very sophisticated and kind of brooding, mysterious record, and I absolutely love it. Again, it's Hannah Francis, Keeper of the Shepherd, another great gatefold design, and also on Ruination Records. This might be my favorite record of the year. It's just absolutely flawless. This is Mary Halverson's latest record. It's called Cloudward. It is a jazz sextet record. Mary, if you didn't already know, is a guitarist and composer, MacArthur Genius Grant recipient, brilliant musician, has made records in a variety of different configurations. She's made solo guitar records. She's made records with small ensembles, with vocalists, is a great collaborator. This is one of the, I think maybe the third record she's made with this sextet, which is called the Amaryllis Sextet. It's a very generous record in that she's the band leader, but everybody solos on this record and everybody does amazing work. If you're a jazz fan, you need this record in your collection. It's incredible. And also Laurie Anderson plays violin on one song, so that's kind of cool. This is an incredibly important record. It's the latest from Amirtha Kadambi's band Elder Ones. It's called New Monuments. Amirtha Kadambi, who has actually collaborated quite a lot with Mary Halverson, but this is from her band Elder Ones. It is, I would probably best describe this as atonal protest jazz. Amirtha is a great voice for the oppressed, is an extremely brave artist, a singer and multi-instrumentalist and composer. And this is just a really wonderful record. I want to just kind of, I want to read something that's in the liner notes because it really describes the source behind this music. Written in response to the killing of George Floyd, and the title New Monuments refers to, she says, in creating new monuments, I don't mean that we should reproduce the same structures of capitalism and colonialism that came before us, but that we should dismantle and reassemble an entirely new future, a new path forward. This is really incredible, deeply felt music that is maybe not necessarily easy to listen to, but it's very important, and it's very, it's a cathartic record. And like anything that Amirtha Kadambi does, it's, again, incredibly important and deeply felt music. So I would definitely recommend this. And here is the latest record from Nate Mendelsohn, and it's actually a record that he's known primarily as a recording engineer and mixer, and works in a studio in Brooklyn for other artists, but he does occasionally make solo records with his own songs, and does so under the name Market. So this is the new record from Market, also known as Nate Mendelsohn. It's called Well, I Asked You a Question, and it is, it's sort of like pop music, like pop rock, indie music, but with a very kind of weird sort of experimental feel to it. Sort of reminiscent of like some of the weirder stuff that Todd Rundgren has done, like A Wizard, a True Star. It's sort of reminiscent of that, like some of Brian Wilson's weirder stuff. So it's very catchy music that has kind of a strange, he makes a lot of interesting arrangement and instrumental choices on here. So it's weird, but it's really, really catchy. And this is on Western Vinyl, which is a great label out of Texas. So this record, this is Tomatsugu Nakamura, who is a Japanese ambient instrumental artist. It's really beautiful, sort of calming ambient music. He actually made 2 records this year. One of them is called For a Fleeting Moment, and that was the one that I ordered, and they accidentally sent me this one instead, but it's great, so I'm gonna keep it. Moon Undercurrent is the record, Tomatsugu Nakamura. Beautiful ambient instrumental Japanese music. Really great stuff. Highly recommended. This is the new one from Jessica Pavone, specifically her string ensemble. It's called Reverse Bloom. Jessica is a composer and violist, and I first found out about her as a member of the experimental art rock quartet Jobs. She plays viola in that band. This is one of her many solo excursions. This is music that she created for a string ensemble. It's sort of atonal and sort of droney, really intense and beautiful. She's joined by Amy Neiman and Abby Swidler on violin. I saw her perform this with the string ensemble here in Cambridge a few months ago. It was great to see this live, and it's a great record too on the Astral Spirits label out of Austin, Texas. I love the artwork. I don't know if you want to call this artwork, but it looks like one of these like classic jazz albums from, like the 60s. This looks like the back of like a Blue Note record kind of, and I really love that. Reverse Bloom is the name of the record once again. Jessica Ackerley string ensemble. This is a band that I didn't even know existed until a few months ago. They're from New England, I think Connecticut. Anyway, they're called Perennial. This is their latest record. It's called Art History. It's sort of mod-influenced punk, fast, loud, catchy, a lot of fun to listen to. Art History is the name of the record. I love the artwork too. I love the whole aesthetic of this. It's beautiful. This is a great band. If you like rock and roll, you need this record. Okay, this is the new one from St. Lennox. It's called 10 Modern American Work Songs. A friend of mine told me about St. Lennox a couple years ago. She actually went to high school with Andrew Choi, who is St. Lennox essentially. And I unfortunately never bothered to follow up and check out St. Lennox until this year when I heard so many great things about his latest record. I listened to it, I bought it, I love it. It is, Andrew Choi is he's a singer-songwriter, multi-instrumentalist, brilliant. His songs are sort of like indie rock, but they have this almost like a musical theater feel to them because the lyrics are very dense and he's very verbose, and he's a great storyteller. And this is a great record. Also, I think this is a really cool looking record too. I think this is like, I think it's called like Coke Bottle Green or something like that. I don't know. Once again, I'm a sucker for artwork or colored vinyl or whatever. Artwork too. Okay. This is Ben Seratan, his latest. It's called Alora. Ben is a great singer-songwriter, wonderful guy. I interviewed him for a piece for Pop Matters a few years ago when he was putting out his album, Youth Pastoral, in 2020. This album was actually recorded in the summer of 2019. He sings and plays guitar. Nico Headley plays bass. Dan Kishkawi, Adeline Hotel, plays drums. This three-piece configuration, I think, was touring Europe, or they were set to tour Europe. The tour fell through, so they retreated to this recording studio in the Italian countryside, made this record. It's cathartic, kind of krautrock meets indie gospel flavored rock. I don't know how to describe it, but it's like a lot of guitars and just, three guys in a studio just making great music. This is on the Tiny Engines label. This is the album that I ordered, and they threw in the Annabelle record. I would recommend anything that Ben does, and he does a lot of different types of music. This is a really good, loud guitar record, and I recommend it highly, like everything else in this list. And finally, this is Jackie West. This is the artist who I saw opening for Delicate Steve. This is her debut album. It's called Close to the Mystery. It's on Ruination Records. Jackie has a beautiful voice. She's also, she plays guitar. This record is sort of, some of the songs sound like old jazz standards, like torch song standards. There's some kind of folky type stuff on here. There's some stuff that's kind of reminiscent of 90s shoegaze. It's a little bit all over the place, but it really hangs together well. It's a very consistently great record with amazing songs. Again, it's Jackie Wilson. The album is called Close to the Mystery. I highly recommend it. I recommend all the records in this pile that I just showed you. Those are all 2024 albums that I purchased on vinyl. Again, not a comprehensive list of my favorites, but they're all great records. And I think they're all available on Bandcamp with the exception of the Rouge Aftab record, and I think maybe the Laurie Anderson one. So you can sample them all and order them all on Bandcamp if you like them and would like to own them. And that's it. That's all I got. I hope you have a great 2025. Thanks.